Hello everybody, welcome to the Family First Life America Training Center again. We have a phone script training for you to do. Should be very, very good. Big thing to focus on with this, what we're about to talk about. And we've done this before a few times, and I've made videos about different things, but if we look at this business, okay, 80% phones. 15% in-home, and 5% is product knowledge. And the biggest thing to understand about that is too many new agents get hung up and don't make a move and can't take a breath and won't take a step and won't do anything, and they're just paralyzed because they don't know about all of the underwriting guidelines and outlines and underlines of an HMS term. And what does HMS stand for, Grady? And why is it called EAGLE? And MOO, is that mutual? No. Like, there's just so much confusion about products that people don't take a step. And the biggest thing to understand that you're going to decide, or your new agents are going to decide, if they're going to do this business right here, because this is all that matters. This is what matters, and this is really the only work. That's the only work. That's the work. Sitting down, Red Bull, coffee, bottle of water, locked door, stack of leads, 2 cell phones, and focus is how you make money in this business. It is strictly a function of dialing the phone. An old mentor used to tell me, they'd say, you can make $100,000 a year in this business in 3 years or 10 years. It's all a function of dialing the phone. Now, that old mentor was not aware of Family First Life America's comp plan, because you're making 100 grand here, you're on the bottom end of the financial income spectrum. Still a fine income, but not what you could do if you're really producing full-time. 200, 250, 300 plus is generally the range of our full-time producers. And so we've got 2 producers I'm gonna have come here and talk to you today about phone script. One who in his first 30 days has issue paid over $20,000. Another one who last month issue paid $21,000. Generally, he's a $30,000 producer. He went on vacation last month. 30, yeah, he's very good. But let's focus on here for a second. Phone script. Why is this so important to you? Why is this so important? Because this thing holds all the money. It holds every dollar you're going to make or not make is a function of you deciding, am I going to pick this up and dial? Am I going to make excuses about dialing? Am I going to say, I got errands to run. I work for FFL now, and I'm self-employed. So this morning I'm going to go to the gym at 10:30, and the car needs a wash. And you know what, honey, I'm going to help out the dishes. No problem right now. I'll happily help out the dishes because I'm a self-employed entrepreneur. I can work when I want. And that's a great idea and a fairy tale dream, if you will. But like, if you don't treat this business like you would if you had a $40,000 a year or a 40-hour a week job, you won't make any money. And that's the biggest thing that I challenge all new agents, is their lack of rabid desire to get the dialing done with. Pick up the phone, average dials. Here's some numbers for you. Average dials per hour between 35 and 40. Triple dialing leads, okay? So that's 3 dials to the same lead. In a 35 to 40 leads, you're dialing 13 leads. So if you've got 40 new leads, it should take you, simple math would say, about 3.5 to 4 hours to dial through all of your leads at a triple dial rate. You dial them in the morning, you're gonna book up some appointments, take a break, go to lunch, go to the gym. Then, after you've already done some work, reward yourself for putting an effort early in the morning, then do another dial session in the afternoon. And then if you haven't hit your 16 to or 14 to 16 appointment goal for Tuesday, Wednesday, or for Friday, Saturday, because our dial days here at FFL are Mondays and our Thursdays. If you haven't hit your goal yet, then what do you need to do? You got to dial at night. Dominique Rogers has a great quote. He says, I hate dialing the phone, but I hate it worse on Monday nights, because it says to me, I didn't work hard enough and try hard enough and put forth enough effort early enough in the day to knock out my goal. And now it's 8:30 at night. I've got 3 appointments on Tuesday and 2 maybes on Wednesday, and I'm dialing with frantic stress, trying to get a couple more appointments the next couple of days so I can feel good about myself, because I didn't discipline myself and early enough in the morning. That's my hope for you. That's my request for you. That's my encouragement for you, that you will put forth effort early in the day, that you've already got some appointments booked up. Your 2 speakers that you have right now, how many appointments did you already book today?
12.
Okay, we have the guys that are about to come speak to you here at 1 o'clock in Arizona have already booked 12 and 10 appointments. There's a reason they write over 20,000 a month. And so like what I'm trying to get through to you guys is a lot of you who write 1,000, 2,000 a week. If your desire is to make a lot of money, you must change the effort you're putting in to accomplish that desire. And so what we're gonna do is kind of dial in today's phone script. We're gonna go through objections. We're gonna go through the scripts themselves. You can find them all on FFL America underneath the downloads tab. There's a bunch also in Slack in the phone script channel. Who would have thought, right? So maybe someone mapped that out beforehand. So make sure you're checking the phone script channel. There's a lot of great scripts to use. But the biggest thing where you will need to understand, it's not a perfect script. There's no perfect lead. There's time and effort. Tapping that glass screen over and over and over again is the only way you're gonna get yourself to your appointment goal. That's it, it's just time. And the more time you put in, I remember there's gosh, if I remember, John Wetmore at his recent training he said he was making, when he had calculated his annual earnings from what he'd made, divided by, because he tracked his dials every week, which you guys should be doing. There's a dial tracker on FFL America under downloads. He said that by the end of the year, he was making $17 every time he dialed the phone. When he added up all his dials and what he issued paid by the end of the year, it was $17 every time he hit the green button, every time he hit send. And so you got to think about that. If you're sitting in your office or your home or your kitchen or wherever you dial from, and I'm standing there over your head with a 10, a 5, and 2 1s, and every time you hit that button, I'm dropping 17 bucks cash on the kitchen table. Every time you hit send, 17 cash, 17 cash, 17 cash. How many times did you dial that phone? You would probably dial 2,000 dials that day. There would probably be a world record for amount of dials in a single day if you saw it that way. But the challenge is you don't see it that way yet. You don't understand that this is surely a result of the amount of times you dial. It's going to yield you a bucket of appointments. And when those clients say, yes, I'll be there, I can't wait for you to come over, or what's this all about? And you get in the home and you overcome the objections and you show them who you are and you give them a credibility sheet, you find the need, and you protect that family, the commission check that's going to hit your bank account 2 days later far outweighs any sort of stress or frustration you feel on dial day because you did what you said you were going to do. And that's my desire. That's my wish, my hope, my encouragement for you is to understand that the dialing the phone is the business. Without this, we're all getting Fs. Okay, this is a B right here. This is a B. You want to get to an AA plus, you got to learn the rest of this. But B's make degrees, right? Isn't there a quote like that? So I need you to just understand this. This is going to be important training for you. And if it's not this one that does it for you, then go dig into FFL Mentor, Agency Dojo, FFL America, and find other trainings. There's great live dials inside of the Facebook group and all over the internet on how to dial the phone. The main thing, dial. And we'll do some peppering into some training and coaching and get you to understand what to do, how to get there, and the number one thing is just do it. So first I want to invite up Clay Sweet. You may have, come on up. You may have seen him in the group or in Slack because he sells a lot of insurance. It's Clay Sweet. He lives here in Arizona with us. He started with us on
July
8th, and today by the calendar is August 19th. He has issue paid in his less than first 40 days over $20,000. You had some experience in a little bit, but you never bought leads like this and dialed like this and did this. So brand new agent. When he says, what do I do? I say, buy some leads, dial the crap out of them.
Yep.
And that's what he did. So I want to invite Clay up here to kind of go through. He's going to give you a few minutes of what he does, what he says. If you got any questions, feel free to drop them in here. But understand, guys, that if Clay, normal average guy, can do this, I'll let him use the self-deprecating humor. I don't think that's fair. If Clay, gorgeous looking man, can do this, then you can too. Okay, so I'll pass it over to Clay.
How's everyone doing? I just wanted to say thank you, Grady, for asking me to do this today. It's a great privilege. Just wanted to go over a little bit of phone script. First things first, dial time starts at 8. I sit down at 7:30, make sure that I'm prepared, make sure that I'm ready to dial. I'm not sitting down on the couch or wherever I'm going to be dialing at 8:01. I'm not starting at 8:15. I'm not starting at 8:30. I'm starting right at 8 o'clock, starting to dial. This is so crucial because if you do not set appointments, that you're not going to have any opportunity to get good in the home or learn products or anything like that. So just wanted to press upon you how important it is to start dialing at 8 o'clock. This is a very basic phone script. I've made some changes throughout dialing. As you dial, I'm doing a variety of leads. I do Mail Pro. I do the Roadrunner leads are fantastic. I really like the Roadrunner leads because of just you get the lead and you can dial them immediately. I booked 4 appointments this morning just from getting a Facebook or just getting a notification that I got a Roadrunner lead and booked them right on the spot. I mean, they're sitting at the computer. I watched the training with Andrew Taylor, and he imagines when he's calling that they're sitting at the computer with that on their mind. So that just resonated with me, and just wanted to impress upon you that when you get especially Roadrunner leads, make sure that as soon as you get that notification that you're calling. So you can download this script off FFL America. It's a very basic script. I've made some changes in the first 5 weeks that I've been doing this. But I'll just kind of read it to you. I still read off the script. I mean, I've definitely, I've made some appointments driving down the road. I wouldn't recommend it, but I can do this off the top of my head, but I still look at the script just to make sure that I'm hitting all my points. The first things first, when I call, you're going to get a variety of answers. You're going to get people that answer the phone. They're in a hurry. They're at work. They're trying to get ready for work. You're just going to have to basically understand that you're probably not catching them at the best time. So when I call, I'm very monotone, but I'm a happy monotone. Let's just say that her name is Debbie. I say, "Hello, Debbie." And she'll say, "Yes." I'll say, "Hi, my name is Clay. I'm getting back to you regarding the Facebook request that you sent us for the state-regulated life insurance program for burial and final expense. Remember, it was the one that asked you what your favorite hobby was, and for some reason it's always knitting or something like that." I'm trying to get that first paragraph out as slowly, I know this sounds kind of weird, but as slowly and clearly, but as quickly as possible, because I want to get to the point where I'm letting them realize that they actually filled out this form. I want to identify that their favorite hobby is knitting. So once we've identified that they did fill that form out, I'm letting them know that the purpose of this call is just to confirm some information that I give you. I say, I'm a local field underwriter here in the Maricopa County area. I'm putting together a packet for you, so I just want to make sure that I'm reading this correctly. Then I say, you have your date of birth listed as, let's just say my birthday, 6/15/82. Is that correct? Great. Then I say, you have your address listed as 1234 Acorn Street. Is that correct? Great. This is huge because this gives them a reason why, I'm reminding them why they filled out this form. So I really, really hit this home. I say, let me ask you this. When you took the time to fill out this form on Facebook, what was your primary focus for filling this out? Was it just to make sure that you didn't burden your family with those expenses for burial and final expense? Or were you looking to leave a little bit something extra to your spouse or adult children? Then I go silent. I let them talk for a second, because that really kind of reinvigorates why they did this to begin with, or reminds them. Regardless of what they say, I always say perfect. That's why 98% of my clients fill this out. I then move on to let them know how the process works. I say, great, let's just say Debbie. Great, Debbie. Well, there's about a dozen different options that you qualify for. They're all non-medical. There's no blood or urine or needles. I say they just make me sit down with you for about 15 minutes. Because number one, we want to make sure that you are who you say you are, that no one's trying to get insurance in your name. And number two, to make sure that you're not hospitalized or bedridden. If I've got if I have some nice rapport with them, I heard a training of a guy did, to make sure that you're not 800 pounds. I always get a little laugh over that. You want to sprinkle some humor in there. You don't want to be robotic by any stretch. Now, once I say that, I kind of flip it a little bit compared to this script. I immediately want to identify I want to have a couple questions to identify with. I immediately ask them, are they a smoker or a non-smoker? I ask them if they're married, widowed, divorced, or single. The reason why I'm asking that is if they're married or they have like a significant other, I want to try to book a time where they're both together, because that's important to me, because I don't want to go to an appointment and have them say, well, I need to, there's just a lot of objections that can come when the significant other is not there. Lastly, I find out if they're retired or working. The reason why that's important is if I know they're retired, then I can book them at an earlier time. If they're working, like I had a gentleman this morning, he said he was working, and I just say, so I should assume that you work a typical 9 to 5. He said yes, so I booked him at 5:45. So you're just trying to get those barriers out of the way so that when you go to say a time, you've already identified when they're going to be home, if they're working, all those different things. So when I say a time, it should be done. I don't want to have to really coordinate a bunch of different times. I want to know in my head where I'm going before I give them a time. I usually say if I want to book them at 5:45 or 6, I'll usually say I've got a 5:45 or I've got a 6:15. And for some reason, most of the time people will either say the first or they'll say I've got a 6. So they'll hit it in the middle. So once I'm done with that, we've established the time. Now this is very, very crucial, and I learned this in my first couple of weeks, is you really, really, really want to nail that appointment down. So there's a lot of questions that you can ask to nail this down so your no-show rate goes down lower. So I asked them to get a pen and a piece of paper. This is very important because some people just want to be a little militant and say, well, I don't have one. I'd very nicely say, well, I'll wait for you to get one, because that is kind of showing some authority on my end. I'm in control. You want to be in control in this conversation the entire time. I mean, the second you let the person you're calling on the phone take control, then it can really be a killer on the phone. So once they get the pen and piece of paper, I say, I want you to take down some information. My name is Clay, C-L-A-Y. Our appointment time is, let's say it's tomorrow. It was tomorrow, August 20th, Tuesday at 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. I make them repeat it. I give them a confirmation code. I give the same confirmation code to everybody because you're only booking one person at a time. So it's 12CS. I make them repeat that. After that's done, I ask them some questions. If they're in an apartment, I ask them, Debbie, do you live in an apartment? Is there any gate codes I need to be aware of? You're just trying to let them visualize that you're pulling up into the apartment complex. Is there any gate codes that I need to be aware of? Is there any type of dogs that I need to be aware of? And if they say yes and they're kind of embarrassed about it, I let them know that I have a couple dogs. It's no big deal. I just want to make sure I don't get my leg chomped off as I'm walking through the door. And they always laugh, just joking. So I've identified the time. I've given them confirmation code. I've let them visualize, me actually walking up to the door. I've given them my name. I've done all that I need to do. And then lastly, when I'm done, I let them know, now I'll be coming from a ways away. Now, I just got done telling them at the beginning, and I don't think I mentioned this, but usually when I'm telling them I'm dropping off a packet and I'm setting up the appointment, I'll let them know that I'll be seeing 10 to 12 families that day. But I feel like because it's only going to take about 15 minutes, I can squeeze them in. That kind of lets them know that it's not going to be like a long appointment by any stretch. So I've already let them know that I'm in the area, but here's the tricky part. I'm about to tell them that I'll be coming from a ways away. So I just say it nonchalant. Now listen, I'll be coming from a ways away. So if you weren't there, it'd really kind of throw a monkey wrench in my schedule. Now, I understand that serious emergencies happen, but barring any emergency, is there any reason why you won't? And then I repeat the time. Because I've repeated the time multiple times in this conversation to get it in their head. I want it in their head. I'll even go as far as to say to put it up on the refrigerator. Put this appointment on the refrigerator so you don't forget, because you just want to eliminate the no-shows. All this is for naught if they're not there when you set the appointment. So at the end, I say that. Is there any reason why you won't be there tomorrow at 1 p.m.? No? Great. This is important, and I don't know if you said this or Julius or Ashley, but at the end of a training, you always want them to thank you. So I always say at the end, I'm looking forward to seeing if I can help you and your family. They say thank you, I hang up. I don't say you're welcome, anything like that. I hang up. That's it. Grady asked me to handle a couple of objections. You're going to hear everything. You're going to hear, I don't remember filling out the form. My answer to everything is perfect. If I don't remember filling out the form, well, perfect. This is a bonus. I'm calling you to offer you a service. Like, this is great. Anything. I don't remember filling out the form. I don't remember, I've already taken care of this. Well, perfect. I'm a field underwriter here in Maricopa County. Somehow this got put on my desk. I'll be in your area. I'd love to drop a packet by. Does 6:15 or 6:30 work for you? Any objection. If they're in a bad mood, perfect. I'm in a bad mood too. We can be in a bad mood together. Just anything they say is perfect. I'm just rolling with it. And when you first start, and I'll admit this, the first week or so, I was like, okay, you gotta go by. It was just a nervous wreck but now I just roll with it, perfect. I'm having a bad day, perfect. I'll make it better. I can offer you a service or, whatever the case may be, you're just trying to get the appointment. If they're busy, I will continue talking as if they didn't even tell me that they're not busy. If they're like, I'm right in the middle of something, great, this will only take a minute or two. I just need to confirm some information and I will start talking fast. So, the goal is to book as many appointments as you can, but you also want to make sure that, you're confirming the appointments because that's the biggest thing I learned. It's great to book appointments, but you want to make sure they're there when you book the appointments. A couple of other objections is, we already covered, I've already taken care of that is a big one. And I'll even make a joke. I made this joke this morning. I just got the Roadrunner lead. I called him and he said, man, I already took care of that. I said, well, that's crazy because you work real fast because I just got this real time a minute ago. And he started laughing and he said, well, man, I was just trying to get you off the phone. So I actually booked that appointment. So you're just really, when you first start, you're going to find that everyone has an excuse why they don't want to see you. Some people are really nice. Some people, it's like I get on the phone, I'm like, man, that was an easy appointment. Sometimes I'm like, man, I had to work to get that appointment. But I don't give a rip if it's an easy appointment or I had to work to get the appointment. End of the day is I booked the appointment. So, read the script. You're going to add some things here and there. I'm sure Julius will have some things to add that are, he's a beast when it comes to this. So, I'm still in my progression as a new agent. I just wanted to get on here and kind of go over the script. Any objections that might, you might come across, I swear, if they're in a bad mood or they don't want to talk to you, my answer is perfect and I'm in a good mood. I'm monotone but happy at the same time. I'm handling every objection with perfect. That's the reason for my call. I've already handled this. Perfect. That's the reason for my call. I'm not interested. Perfect. That's the reason for my call. I mean, I can't tell you how many times the last 2 weeks I've used that and I've booked an appointment when my first 2 weeks, I just would have said, okay, sorry, I'm so sorry. I apologize and hung up. So I just want to impress upon you, the more you dial, the easier it gets, the more you're able to handle objections. And this is so true. 80% is on the phone. If you don't dial on Monday and Thursdays or whenever you're dialing, whether you're full-time or not, I have a full-time job. And I did this just because I had the self-discipline to wake up and make my dials and do what Grady and do what people like Julius. And he's been great. He's given me great advice, Julius, and Grady's been great, and Ashley and all the people here at FFL America have been great in my progression. And just wanted to share this, and I hope this resonates with some of you. And thank you, Grady. I appreciate y'all.
Don't go yet. So that was awesome. That was awesome. Let's see some love in the comments and whatnot. Just say that was freaking awesome because that was a little round of applause from you. You were very good. I mean, so a big thing too in dialing is the main thing, like with selling and on the phone, is control. And you do that very well. You're talking to your leading with questions. There's two different kind of schools of thought, right? There's a quick set, right? Hey, what's this about? I gotta go, right? And a quick set would be, what would you say? What's this about? I only have a second. What would you say in that regard?
Perfect. And then I'll say this will only take a minute. I just need to confirm some information.
I don't have a minute. You need to come over?
Yes, I'll come over right now if you'd like to see me.
Okay. So generally it's like it's being in control, but letting them know what it is, like getting agreement, right? So so call me real quick. Like just call me.
Ring.
Okay, so hello?
Hi, Grady.
Yes, who's this?
Hi, my name is Clay. I'm messing up already. Hi, my name is Clay. I'm getting back to you regarding the Facebook request that you sent us for the state regulated
Yeah, for the life
card.
insurance. Life insurance. How much does this
Excellent.
How much does this cost?
Perfect. Well, the purpose of my call was just to confirm some information you gave us. I'm going to make sure I'm reading this right so I can prepare. I'm putting together a packet for you.
Okay,
I got your
good,
date of
awesome.
birth listed as
I'm at work right now. What
perfect.
how
Well,
does it work?
this only take a minute. I just need
Okay.
to confirm. I'm a local field underwriter. I just need to confirm some information. I got your date of birth listed as 6/15/82. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
I've got your address listed as 1234 Maple Street.
How'd you get that?
Well, you filled out a Facebook form.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
Excellent,
okay,
excellent.
okay.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. You obviously filled out a form for a reason. What was your reason? Was it just to take care of the burial and final expenses so your family wouldn't be burdened, or were you looking to leave a little bit something extra to your adult?
I don't know. My wife's telling me to get it. Is this life insurance?
It is. It is. All
Okay.
right.
Okay, so this is excellent. So that's very good. What you're doing though, so sometimes what you can do in that situation is you can do a quick set. And where you might lose a guy who might hang up on you if I'm as busy as I am, is I'll go, all right, he's not listening, and I'll hang up, right? Versus say, okay, Grady, perfect. I'm the guy, you filled out a request, my job is to bring the information out to you. What time do you get home from work tomorrow?
6.
6, okay, perfect. Okay, like I said, my job is to bring the information out. I've got a 6:15 or a 6:45 tomorrow. Which work better for you?
6:45.
Okay, perfect. You're always home by 6:45 on Tuesdays?
I should be.
Okay, like I said, my name's Grady. This is Clay, right?
Yes.
Perfect. And your favorite color is blue, right?
Yep.
On Mulberry Street?
Yep.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Like I said, my name's Grady. I'll be out there tomorrow at 6:45. Will Mary be home? I won't know the wife's name based on that, but like, will your wife be home?
She should be. Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, cool, man. All right, get back to work. I'll see you tomorrow at 6:45.
See, I just learned something.
So you kind of like the challenge is because sometimes they're busy. So you can't keep going through it, but you did a good job of keep going through it. But like, if they're fighting you, like you can hear, the TV on. That's when you keep rolling through your script. But if the dude's clearly driving, or you hear he's like, who is this? You called 3 times. Hey, dude, I need to get this information out to you. That's what you call a quick set. So that's how you quick set. You just kind of clarify, clamp it down, perfect, and you just say get it out there. So that's a little tip there. But in general, I mean, yours is excellent. And what you've heard him, and he's going through and he's sticking to a script because it makes you comfortable. You have confidence in your script. Yep. You enjoy the script. Mm-hmm. You've used the script enough times and booked enough appointments and made money from it that it works. Yep. So it's no longer a debate, right? So that's the thing, the challenge of a lot of new agents is they've never used the script. They have no confidence in the script. They haven't made money from the script, so they show, well, what about this script? And I found one on YouTube that some guy in Delaware is using. Should I use that one? No, just use this one. This one works fine, right? And so that's a good script. It's a great script. And so using it, I love your little ad libs, your things asking about smoking or not, or the other things. Will your wife be home, right? Don't want to have one-leggers. Those are excellent little things. So Clay did excellent. Any final things you want to share?
No, just dial. That's the most important. You're not going to get in the home unless you dial. So just dial.
Awesome, bro. Appreciate you.
Appreciate the time. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
All right, guys. That's it. That was an excellent breakdown of how to dial a final expense lead from any of our vendors. They all work the same. That script that he just used is on fflamerica.com/downloads under Facebook script, I believe. So, but I want you guys to understand, like, he'd never dialed a Facebook lead 35 days ago, ever. He had a rough first week. I remember his first day he came in here. He made like 120 dials and nothing. And I was like, all right, we'll see if he makes it, but he left so I can talk about him, right? But he didn't make anything. And then like the next day he came in and did it again, and he booked a couple appointments. I love Clay. He's listening still in the hallway. And so, but the next day he came in and started booking appointments. And that's the thing, like, you guys have to understand, with anything in life, your in-home presentation, your phone script, you're going to build on it. You're going to get better. You're going to get better. You have to trust the process of getting better and believing in yourself that you can learn this, because this is simply a learned skill. That's it. It's a learned skill. This isn't, I'm not born an acrobat, or I don't have great vocals. These aren't like innate, internal things that you are born with. This is a learned skill. Learning the act of taking control on the phone, following an outline, not letting the client get off base and say a bunch of silly stuff that you don't believe. But in the end, they're requesting it anyway. So that's a big thing I want you guys to continue to focus on here. As you heard what Clay did, I'm going to invite up next, our next trainer today on phone script is our man, sales manager. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to see this, but this is an award Julius won for hitting right there. Rating sales manager last month. So pretty cool award. He's a sales manager. He's also top producer. I believe you're in the top 50 of the whole company. You're right around 170,000 issue paid so far in 8 months. Not bad at all.
Not bad. It's decent.
Decent. You know, see, that's what's crazy here. That's decent here because there's so many people that make so much more money than we do. Yeah. It's crazy. You're like, oh, 170. Well, I'm at 300. What do you know? Not me, but I'm not
top 20.
I know top 20. You got to be over to 250 to be in the top 20 at FFL.
I'll do that.
Guess what those people do? They dial the phone a lot. Guess what you can do? You can dial the phone a lot. So I want to get Julius up here to talk about PhoneScript as well. He dials a ton of leads, a bunch of different types of leads. You know, just wash away everything Clay said. You know, pretend like you didn't hear it. Just give him what Julius does. You got it, boss.
Awesome. Well, good afternoon, guys, and thanks for joining us here today. So I'll kind of start with what I dial. So right now I'm mainly dialing Facebook Final Expense, which many of us are doing. I'm using either MailPro or I'm using Roadrunner. Those are the two that I've been investing into. I also do some EverQuote, and then I also do mortgage protection direct mail drops through Lead Concept. So those are the leads that I dial, guys. Now, before I kind of go into the script, it's really important to understand the mindset. Okay. So first off, when you're calling someone, Grady just mentioned this, they made a request. Okay. Depending on the lead type that you're dialing, they either filled out a form, which means they hand wrote it, put it in the mail, and sent it in. Or they filled out and typed some stuff in on the computer, on Facebook, on the internet, etc., and sent in information, right? So either way, there was an action that the agent took, okay? Or excuse me, the customer took. All right, that's first. The second thing is, you guys know leads are crucial in our business, right? So we'll talk about that here in a second, but you gotta find your flow. The first thing as you guys are getting in, if you guys are brand new, start with Final Expense. That's the easiest lead type to start with. I'm not gonna go over Final Expense script because Clay did a really good job of that. I don't think we need to beat that to a dead horse. But the other thing that if you guys didn't notice, what was the one thing he did? When you asked him a question, did you guys pick up on that? Perfect. Besides the perfect, he went right back to a script. So for you guys, if you're less than 90 days here, which many people are, we're still growing this thing, right? Your number one tool is having your script in your hand. I'm now at a point where I don't use the script, but for my first 3 to 6 months, every time I was dialed, I had the script. There was not a time I would talk to a client without a script. Do you know why? Because your mind will take you off into la la land. And la la land doesn't make you money. The script makes you money, okay? So you guys, it's very easy to get off track by a question the client says, a comment the client makes, and you trying to use your own verbiage and your own finesse, which you think you're finesse with it, but then you realize that you said something that wasn't as smooth as it needs to be and didn't come out the way it needs to be, and then you didn't book an appointment, okay? So don't do that, okay? So number one, have your scripts in hand, print them out, and then second, you have a sheet with your objections, okay? Now, I'll kind of roll through mortgage protection if some of you guys are doing mortgage protection leads. I keep it really short and sweet, guys. I don't really like to belabor things when I book appointments. I like to get right to the point. I was doing a bunch of different, when I was booking, I tried different variations, meaning I always stuck to the script, but then I tweaked it to make it my own, right? And you guys are gonna do that because we wanna be comfortable in what we do, right? But I remember Matt Smith, I listened to one of his trainings. He's like, I just like to get to the point, tell them what we're here to do and go for it. So for me, if I'm calling, I'm like, hey, Grady, this is Julius. I'm calling you back about the form that you filled out and you sent into our office looking for some information on mortgage protection. I'm the field underwriter assigned to get this information to you, and all I have to do is verify what you put down here. Hey, Grady, I have your date of birth as August 1st, 1962. Is that right? Yes. Okay, and then I have an address here of 1234 Main Street. Is that right? Yes. So what have I done? I've told them who I am. I told them why I'm calling, and then I verify the information that they put down. So now it's not just this random call. They realize that I'm calling because of an action that they took, and I've just verified their information. So when you repeat back their information to them, there's a level of familiarity that happens. They're like, oh, okay, this guy knows my stuff. I know what's going, he knows what's going on. He knows a little bit about it, okay? Then I just go into, hey Grady, like I mentioned, I'm a field underwriter. Really what my job is pretty simple. My job is just A, find out what you're eligible for, B, explain how the programs work, and then C, show you what your options are, okay? Then I start talking about the next step. I say, hey, now all these programs, they're non-medical, which just simply means you don't need to give blood, urine, or have any type of exams. They just require me to verify you are who you say you are, and you're not living in a hospice home or 800 pounds like an elephant. You've heard that one twice. Zach, what's Zach's name? No, Zach Luffles. I think it's Luffles. He uses that one. That was a good one. He uses that all the time. He's hysterical. But so what I've done now is I've painted the picture to the client though by using that to say, hey, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing, right? I'm going to find out what you're eligible for. I'm going to explain the programs. I'm going to tell you what your options are, right? So I just told them what we're going to do. And then I also told them there's nothing medical required. So they understand it's very simple, and they understand that I have to verify and bring the information to them. And then from there, I just tell them, listen, guys, I'm really busy. I'm usually meeting with about 10 to 12 families a day. And the next time I'm in your area is going to be Wednesday. Now on Wednesday, I tell them it's Wednesday, and then I'll say, hey, do you work or are you retired? And the reason I'm doing that, this is if you're doing mortgage protection, right? We're talking about two different client bases. Mortgage protection, there's a mixed bag. You have some people that are still working and have to pay their mortgage, et cetera. You got people that are retired that have new mortgages, and et cetera, that aren't working, right? So if I know that they're not working and they're retired, well, now I can simply go, okay, if I have a daytime availability, I'll book them in during the day. That works for my schedule. But if they're working, then I have to find out what their availability is. Okay, so you're working. Okay, so what time are you and Mary normally home from work? Let's just say they say 4 o'clock. I simply look at my schedule. Okay, you know what? The next time I have available in your area tomorrow is 5. I can either do a 5 or a 5:30. Which one works better for you? And I let them choose, right? You let them choose, great. Once they've picked it, now you just have to basically solidify and cement the appointment. All right, Bob and Mary, go ahead and grab a pen and paper. I'm gonna just give you some information to get you set up for tomorrow. They go grab a pen and paper, they come back. All right, first thing I want you to do, guys, write my name down. I give them my name. They write my name down. I say, all right, now please write down the date and time. Your appointment's on Wednesday, the 21st at 5 p.m. And I'm gonna give you a confirmation code. Very rarely does anyone ever ask what a confirmation code is for, but you just wanna get them to remember the appointment. Okay, the last thing any of us want is to book an appointment, drive all the way out to their house, whether it's 10 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour or whatever the amount of time is, and the worst thing is they're not there, right? No one wants that. So you're taking these extra steps to be cautious of making sure that they are going to be there. So I give them a confirmation code. You can make up whatever code you want. I just use Y4408. Then I just ask 2 simple questions. I'll say, so if their spouse is not on the lead card, I'll say, hey, you didn't put your spouse down here. Are you married? They'll tell me yes or no. If they tell me yes, okay, what's your wife's name? And I'll write it down. So that way I know when I get there, whoever answers the door, I know how to address them, right? Then I say, okay, great. Are there any medical concerns we need to be aware of? Heart issues, diabetes, COPD. Just getting them to understand that that's all I'm doing, right? I just want to see how I can help them, and I'm there to help them. They'll tell me whatever they tell me. I say, okay, great. I'm going to go ahead and note your file. We'll talk more about that tomorrow or when your appointment is, whatever. Let's just say the appointment's on Wednesday. We'll talk more about that on Wednesday. And then I'll say, last thing, guys, is there a gate or a code to get into your community that I need to get to your house? Because a lot of times you'll book an appointment. Maybe they didn't tell you as an apartment complex or condo complex or just a gated community, and you're sitting outside like, man, how the hell do I break into this thing, right? So you're sitting out waiting for someone to pull in, and you're like zooming in right behind it, right? Tell me you haven't done that. You know you've done that.
Every day.
All the time, right? So I'm trying to avoid that. I'm trying to get better at that. So now I started asking that question, and it's allowed me to not have to do that, because the last thing you want to do is get stonewalled by a security door of a complex, and you can't even see the customer if they don't pick up their phone, and it's a whole nother issue. But that's really all it is, guys, is when you understand the process, it's just doing it over and over, okay? And the scripts are meant for you to make sure that you don't screw that process up. So if you don't follow the script and you start to ad lib and you're here for less than 30 days, chances are you're probably going to screw it up and you're not going to get as many appointments as you could be getting. Okay, so stick to the scripts. And then my flow doesn't really change whether I'm dialing mortgage protection, Facebook, or my EverQuote leads. And the reason why is it's still a request, right? So let's just say it was a final expense lead. We'll go back to that. So the only thing that I change is my intro. Hey, this is Julius getting back to you about your request for the state regulated final expense and burial programs. I'm the field underwriter assigned to get that information to you. Went right back in. All I changed was that first sentence. The rest of the flow is all the same. If they request it on EverQuote, hey, my name is Julius. I'm getting back to you about the life insurance you requested online. I'm the field underwriter assigned to get this information to you. Nothing changes but the first sentence. So your leads do not matter in terms of what you're calling. It's just your process of dialing should always be the same. And if you're consistent in your process, guess what else is going to happen? You're going to have consistent results. Okay. So that's in terms of dialing. Now, your objections. Guys, out of every batch of leads, you're going to have a percentage of people that are going to be laydowns. They're going to say yes. You're going to come in their house. You're going to show them options. They're going to pick one. That's 10 to 20% of the sales that you'll get. You're going to have to work, okay? Now, you're going to have some objections, or really what I like to call it, which I think is probably the better name for it, is initial reluctance, right? When a person calls, or when you call a person, excuse me, just like Clay said right before me, the guy is like, oh, I already took care of it. Well, he's not objecting because you haven't really talked about anything. He's just reluctant to have the conversation because he doesn't know what the conversation is. So, and Leo, I think when you and I worked together, we did a lot of initial reluctance training.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Same process, right? So initial reluctance is really what it is they're just reluctant to have the conversation initially just because they don't know any better, right? So what I did to get better at this, and Grady, you may remember this, is I was struggling in a few different areas where people were reluctant to stay on the phone and book an appointment. So what I did for myself was I created the top 3 or 4 objections or initial reluctance statements that the client had, and then I took those and I had the rebuttals printed off right in front of me, because you're going to hear the same things 90-95% of the time. And what are they? A, I have no time, right? I'm at work. I only got 60 seconds. I don't have time, whatever the case may be. B, I already took care of it. C, mail it to me, right? D, I'm not interested. Those are your main 4. If you know what to say before your client says it, do you think you're going to have a higher likelihood to succeed or lower? Probably higher, right? Because your clients aren't sitting there practicing, how do I get this person off the phone? But we're over here practicing how to book the appointment, you see? So we're the professionals being ready to handle the client. The client aren't the professionals waiting to hear us. They're professional hang up people, like they hang up on cold callers or telemarketers, and they say whatever they say because that's just what they do. But if you want to get good at this, guys, you got to be a professional and you got to know the answers before the question, okay? So that's what I did. So like, for example, if someone says to me, hey, go ahead and, just, why don't you just send this in the mail, right? I'll say, hey, listen, Bob, I'd love to send this in the mail. And quite frankly, that'd make my job a hell of a lot easier. But because these programs are state regulated, they require us to verify you are who you say you are, and you're not in a hospice home or something like that, right? And so that's why we have to bring them out there. It only takes about 10 to 15 minutes, and the next time that I'm in your area is going to be Wednesday. I can fit you in at either 6 or 6:30. What works better for you? So what I've done is I've acknowledged his reluctance. I've transitioned to explain what needs to happen, and I went right back into trying to set an appointment. If your rebuttal to that initial reluctance does not sound like that, and you pause or you just say, hey, I need to verify you are who you say you are and you're not in a hospice home, and you pause, and you haven't tried to rebook or reset the appointment, they're gonna just say the same thing, or they're gonna say something else to get you off the phone. And so the way you keep control in that situation is by asking the question at the end to try to reschedule that appointment. When you do that, they're kind of forced to answer. Now, will it always work? No, they'll still maybe give you another objection, and you just continue with that process, right? So that's one, right? So now what if they say, hey, I've already taken care of this. I had one of those today. Called a couple. They had me on speakerphone in the car, and they're like, is this Michael? And I go, no, this is not Michael. This is Julius. They're like, oh, okay, well, we already took care of this with Michael. I said, oh, okay, great. I said, like most of our clients, you've probably filled out multiple requests. Is that right? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, that's pretty normal. Most people want to make sure that they're getting the best deal and getting the right protection for them in their home and things like that. And so what my job is just to simply get this information out there to you. And if you have a protection already in place, that's great. Go ahead and have that paperwork out. So that way, when I get out there, if you have everything taken care of, we can go ahead and close your file. If we have some way to help you strengthen your position, then we'll share that information with you. And it only takes about 10 minutes to do both. So I have availability tomorrow at 6 or 6:30. What works better for you? They picked 6:30. That's exactly what I said to them. Leo, you were in the room when I said that, right? They booked an appointment, right? And so it's just a matter of, the other thing that you're going to learn how to do this, or I shouldn't say you're going to learn how to do it. You're just going to get better at doing it. And it's not getting excited or worked up or sound different when someone gives you an objection. You know how you're going to do that? Through repetition. It's that simple, okay? So in the beginning, when you hear an objection and you're just starting dialing, it's almost like human nature to kind of like get amped up, like, oh my God, well, like, oh, well, I just have to get this information out there to you. It's only going to take 10 minutes, right? Your tone may change now. Mine was a little dramatic, right? But you get the point, right? Like your energy builds up. You have a little bit of, you want to make sure you build that, you book that appointment. And the key is you just stay the same every time, okay? Expect them to give you an objection. Expect it. If you expect it and you know how to overcome it, then it's not a big deal. But if you're not expecting it and then they hit you with it and now all of a sudden you're scrambling between papers, what do I say, and you're fumbling, guess what? They're not going to book an appointment, guys, okay? So go through, make sure you have those objections printed out. If you don't know, do we have rebuttals on the?
It's either their agency dojo or FFL Mentor. It's on.
Okay, so two things. One, go to FFL America downloads. I believe the rebuttals are on there. If they're not, you can definitely find them in fflmentor.com under the phone booking slash step five. Or even you can link to that through FFL America if you hit the training tab, and then you scroll down on the bottom, it'll say booking appointments, it'll be in there, okay? But do that for yourselves, guys, because it's gonna make your life a hell of a lot easier to book appointments, okay? So we talked about how to schedule, we talked about objections. The one thing I wanna leave you guys with is this. It's all about posture and attitude when you're on the phone, okay? You want to make sure you don't have any like surrounding noise and you're in a quiet room and you can just sit there and focus, okay? Because at the end of the day, 80% of our business is on this phone, okay? You set an appointment, you get in the home, your chances to win are going to be pretty high. I mean, once you're in the home in front of people, your chance to win is real high, okay? Where I was going with that is, if you want to become really good here, become really good at the first part of this business. And that's just booking appointments. And the reason why is, let's say you have 20 appointments a week and you're 30 days into this, and you're doing 20 appointments every week, 20 appointments every week, 20 appointments, 20 appointments, 20 appointments. You're telling me you're not going to start selling some of those if you didn't sell them the first week? It's almost impossible. How about the second week? How about the third week? Shit, even if, excuse my language, but even if you had a 25% close rate and you had 20 appointments, do the math, that's 4 deals, right? 4 deals, you're gonna run enough premium to make your money back. Is that 5 deals? Whatever, I'm not here to do math. That's what like Excel and all this come in and have a seat. I'm not saying I'm the best at math, but the point of it is you're gonna run enough business, guys, where it's not gonna matter, okay? And so that's really what it boils down to is it's all about quantity, and then it's all about repetition. That's really it. And so in order for you to hit your appointment goal, the other thing that you guys want to be thinking about is how do you get to that appointment goal? Okay. If 80% of our business is done on the phone, okay, by booking appointments, and you're full-time and you want to have 20 appointments a week, but you're buying 20 leads, are you really going to set 20 appointments? Hell no. So one of the things that we just had a call with our team last week, and one of the things that I said to the team, which I don't know where this came from, but it actually made a lot of sense to me after I sat back and thought about it. But if you want to have 20 appointments, your lead volume, take your appointment number, your goal, times that by 3. Times that by 3. So if you want to have 20 appointments, you times it by 3. Now I can do this math, Brady, that's only 60, okay? But if you buy 60 leads, chances are you'll have 20 appointments. Probably an 80 to 90% chance, because you're booking about 30% of the leads that you buy, right? So if you buy enough leads, now think about it this way. All we're doing is we're reverse engineering what we're trying to do, right? We're just looking at it from a different angle. So if I want 20 appointments, I'm going to buy 60 leads, okay? Now of those 20 appointments, I'm going to end up selling in the ballpark of probably 7 to 8. And you're going to end up, the average producer will have about $100 per appointment, per app. That's $7,000 to $8,000 in premium in a week. Is your life going to change when you're writing $7,000 a week? You bet you know what it will. And so I'm going to leave you guys with that. That's really the meat and potatoes of this business, guys. Yes, you got to book, you got to get good at it, but it also starts with, are you setting yourself up for success to hit the number of appointments that you want in a week? And if the number is 20 for you, or higher or less, multiply it by 3, and that's the number of leads you should be buying on a weekly basis. If you're doing anything less, you're probably struggling. If you're struggling, reach out to your leader. Reach out to someone that can help you. Grady, myself, Ashley, and all these others. We've been through this. We understand what it takes. We're here to help you guys. All right? Talk to you soon.
Bro, knocked it out of the park.
As I always do.
Park, as you always does. 8-9 months in rocking and rolling, you can see what that will do to your phone skills. And just, posture. I mean, taking the 4 main objections and putting them on a sheet of paper and reviewing them. Simple to do, and so easy that everyone can do it. So great job, Julius. Great job, Clay. I want to go through something real quick because we did the full phone script. And what I want to really just to end this, and then we'll try to get this down here in under an hour, is what I do in order to cement the appointment. So you get the front end, they agree, they're like, I remember filling the lead card, I remember submitting online, yes, I was on EverQuote. How do you, what are things that you can say at the end? And a lot were referenced. I just want to put a synopsis here to these things that will be executable for you to even write down, and I'll put them on the video when we get this done. But basically, like how to limit the no-shows, because the 20 appointments is fantastic. But if you're soft on the phone, like what's being soft on the phone? Hi, Jim. Can I come out there and see you on Friday? Yeah, I might be home Friday. Okay, I'll put you down for Friday. What time do you get off work? I might get off by 5. Okay, Jim, I'll put you down for 5:30. You gonna be home? I don't know. Okay, you hang out and stuff, and you put it down as 5:30. That's not even a real appointment, so that one doesn't count. But many people think that, well, Jim said he might be home by 5:30. I'm gonna go drive to an hour and 12 minutes across town, and Jim wasn't there, and I'm mad. And so, like the best thing in this business is watching yourself in the mirror get better. Like that's one of the coolest things, is watching yourself improve from whom you are today to whom you want to become, and actually making that happen. And how do you do it? As Julius referenced, repetition, as Clay referenced, just making the dials. But a lot of this is also seeking out counseling and training. So these are some crucial things that I want you guys to finalize this dialing phone script training, to make sure you're adding right at the end, however you're doing it, or a version of this to help decrease and eliminate your no-shows, which does increase your sales. So you get agreement. Yeah, I remember filling that out. Okay, perfect. Now, to clear the calendar. Now, the way we clear the calendar is this. So we got agreement, now we're gonna clear the calendar. If they're young, what time do you get home from work tomorrow? Straight question. It's not a yes, no question. It's there's only one way they can answer it. I get home at 5:30. I get home at 7:30. Okay? So clear the calendar. Okay? If they're older, now Dolores, do you have any doctor's appointments tomorrow? No, I don't have any. Okay, perfect. Right. So if they're younger, they know I said they come at 5. Okay, perfect. Now I've got a 5:15 or a 5:45. Which would work better for you? If they're older, you say, I've got a 10:15 or a 10:45, Dolores. Which would work better for you? And you're offering them 2 times. Okay, so you're clearing the calendar. You're not like, that's the biggest thing, is when you're kind of going into it and you're like trying to say, well, I've got a Tuesday at 10, 12, 3, 5, and 7. Which works best for me? I also have the same times available on Wednesday, right? So like, you sound like you're really busy when you tell them you've got all these times available. You book your schedule, right? I want to be able to go to the gym in the morning, make my kids breakfast, do some stuff in the office, and then go run 8 appointments. So tell the client when you're available. My first appointment, okay, perfect. Yeah, I got a 10:15 or 10:45 tomorrow, Dolores. Which works better for you? I guess 10:15, I'm home, right? So you take control. That's the fun thing about this. You get to design your life. You do. And so I do the 2 times. I like the 6:15, 6:45. Some people like the 6, 6:30. But 2 times 30 minutes apart sounds like it's a short appointment because you got to go see more people. Either way, I'm showing up at 6:30, right? I'm showing up in the middle. It's because either way, I'm showing up in the middle. But you let them feel as though they're in control. Why? They're in control. They get to decide the time. I'm in control. This guy is not going to tell me when he's coming over. I'm picking 6:15, right? I told them the time I was available. So offer them 2 times. Then confirmation number. This is clutch and crucial. Once I implemented a confirmation number, my no-shows went from like half to like 10%. And the confirmation code, Clay did it, Julie's doing it, I do it like this. Okay, perfect. Now I need you to go ahead and grab a pen. I want to give you your confirmation number. Your confirmation number. When you say your, people take ownership. Your, theirs. Depending on the carrier you pick, it's going to take either a week to 4 weeks. When you say you, the client owns it. It's theirs, right? This is your confirmation number. Okay, what was it for? Well, this is just so we can verify you as who you say you are, and you get the wholesale price. Go ahead and grab a pen. And then just go dead silent. Perfect. Just like Clay did. You grab a pen. All right, mine's 9W47. Okay, perfect. Confirmation number. It is getting them to get a pen and write it down. There's science that says tactile touch from pen to paper with sight and memory increases memory retention. So them sitting in the Barcalounger, clicking through the TV, have the telephone in their ear, it's not as good as them leaned over on the nightstand, writing down in their blue Bic Sharpie on the yellow sticky note that Grady Polson, 10:30 to 10:15, 9W47. So it's just little things, guys. It's you showing control early in the experience or interaction with your client. Okay. Then I go, perfect. Now Dolores, what color is your house? What color is your house? It's like blue. Okay. Like is it on the corner? Any big trees I should look for? No. Just blue house. Okay, perfect. Any big dogs or gates I got to jump over to get to the doorbell? Little humor, right? Any big dogs or gates I got to jump over in the front yard to get to the doorbell? No. I got little doggies. They'll be in the backyard. No gates. Okay, perfect. And Dolores, where are the numbers? Are they on the house or the mailbox? Oh, they're on the mailbox. Oh no, they're on the house or above the garage, above the carport. So you're trying to like paint a picture for your client that you are their nephew or long lost grandchild or someone coming to their house and they see you in their head. This is how you rapidly decrease no-shows. Okay, they see you coming over. And then you confirm to him, okay, perfect, Dolores. Like I said, I'll be out there at 10:15 tomorrow. You got that confirmation number, right? 9W47. Okay, go ahead and add this to your calendar. I'm going to add it to mine. Okay, yeah, no problem, Grady. Okay, perfect. I look forward to meeting you and helping you. Forces them to say thank you, right? Clay did a great job at that. I look forward to meeting you and helping you. Thank you, Grady. All right, bye-bye. Click. So those little things right there, when you first start this business, it's the hope and the promise and the upside is like anything you'll ever do in your life. But it can also be the most frustrating because it's you against you. It's you against the world. And it's you having to decide, am I going to put up or shut up? Am I going to do it or am I going to quit? And when you're starting to get no-shows, I remember one time I was driving home from Tucson crying because I had like 6 appointments and they all no-showed me. And it was frustration tears. It wasn't like I wasn't sad, nothing hurt. I was like, it was so frustrating. And so you know what I did? I watched like every phone script training I could find. I called up top line people and I said, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And then I put together this little cheat sheet that I just gave to you right now. And that took my no-shows from 50+%, because as you can tell, I'm kind of a positive, happy guy. And when I'm on the phone, I'm like, hey, it's Grady. I'm going to come over and sell you life insurance. And I just wasn't good. And like, It took me deliberate intention and a desire to get better. And what that allowed me to do was to hone these little things that now I'm trying to give to you to make your pain less pain. And if I can do that for you, you're all going to make more money and you're going to make it faster. So implement those things. And I hope they help. I hope this whole call and training was helpful for you as well. There's tons of great training on FFL Mentor, Agency Dojo. That's where I learned watching Paul McLean Dial. If you haven't watched Paul McLean Dial on Agency Dojo, you're in for a treat. It's like the first time you've seen Avatar. It's so dang good, okay? And so, yeah, go watch Paul. And a lot of these guys are just excellent. But the number one rule is do it. That's what you got to do. You got to go do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. And if you do it, you're going to get what you want, because the secret and the answer to everything you want in life, everything you want, the life you desire, the life you planned out for your wife, the life you planned out for your husband, the things you want to buy for your kids are all at the end of you dialing this phone. That's it. There's no secrets here. There's no secrets in anything other than work. And the work here, make phone calls. So proud of you all for being on here. Proud of you guys who are watching the replay to the end. Thank you guys for joining us live here in the FFL America Training Center. We'll keep these rolling. Appreciate you all. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.